The content you are about to go through is a mature Islamic content. Mainly intended for married couples or would-be getting married people. Assalamu alaikum dear brothers and sisters, marriage in Islam is a very important phase of life, but majority of couples who get married these days fail to do the necessary preparation of learning or knowing the most important, that is the rights of husband and wife, rights towards each other's in-laws, family members, etc., leading to marital problems and divorces which are on rise these days. In this video, I will share one of the important subject of married life, which is precautions while lovemaking. I have listed some major points about sexual etiquettes in Islam which most of us are unaware. It is always better to learn and take precautions in these matters of life than be ignorant and face critical difficulties throughout life. The following points that I have summarized are mentioned along with their respective reference books. May Allah guide us to the right path and protect us from all problems and difficulties. Sexual etiquettes in Islam, dates and times when lovemaking is undesirable. Do not have sexual intercourse on the night of 1st, 15th and the last day of each lunar month. It may cause miscarriage of the child, and if not, it is feared that the child will suffer from mental illness and leprosy. Do not make love with your wife on the eve of Eid al-Adha. The child would have either 4 or 6 fingers. Sex should be avoided on Wednesday night and nights of 2 Eids. Do not make love with your wife on the eve of mid-Shaban. Child would be disfigured with large spots on his face. A person whom full-body ritual purification becomes mandatory wishes to eat or be close to his wife should either make ablution or wash his face, hands and rinse mouth. If this is not done and he eats and drinks, then there is no sin, but doing so is undesirable and leads to neediness. It is undesirable that if a man has wet dream goes to his wife in this state unless he does full purification bath, otherwise offspring may be born congenital abnormal. Total nudity during intercourse leads to shameless and immoral child. If one has sex with his wife while she is going through her monthly menstruation, couple may get fatal venereal disease and a child may have leprosy. Husband is permitted the rest of the body except the area from navel to the knees is undesirable. Fantasizing of another person during sex with own spouse, husband or wife, is forbidden and sinful. It is a form of fornication of the heart and mind. Do not make love with your wife with the desire and lust for another woman in your mind. If a male child were conceived at that moment, he would be one who desires other men to have sex with him. Talking excessively during intercourse could cause the child to be born dumb, although it is permitted in Islam, but it is undesirable for both the partners to look at each other's genitals habitually, as it could result in blind offspring if the child is conceived during the time of prayer. That is, when prayer is neglected, the result will be a disobedient child. Sex with full stomach. This act will result in dim-witted, dull-minded child. This act can lead to colic, paralysis of the face, gout, distillation of urine, hernia, weakness of eyes and stomach, indigestion, swelling of liver and stomach, premature ejaculation and disease of heart. Sex while facing Qibla or having one's back toward Qibla results in the curse of Allah, the angels and all of humanity being on one. Do not make love on the night when a person intends to go on a journey. Sex on these nights may have undesirable effects on the offspring. Do not make love with your wife if there is a child in the house who can see or hear you. For if you do that, the child who saw you or heard you would be adulterous, and the child conceived as a result of that lovemaking will be adulterous. Do not make love with your wife on the eve of Eid al-Fitr. The child will be an evildoer. Avoid sex on the night of lunar eclipse and day of solar eclipse. Also the day and night in which earthquake occurs. If your wife is pregnant, do not make love with her unless you have wuzu. Otherwise the child would be cruel and mean. Husband and wife must not engage in intercourse like two donkeys clinging together, because the angels of mercy will go far from them, and mercy of Allah will be taken away from them. Whoever does anal sex with his wife is cursed and will not be granted the mercy of Allah. If a person does not recite prayer at the time of sex, the Satan participates in the act, and the child is born out of such a union will not be saved from the evil influence of Satan. This is one of the main reasons that the morals of the present gender generation are not good. Do not have intercourse with your wife standing up, for this is the conduct of the donkey, and if a child were conceived, he or she would urinate in bed. Person who performs this act brings harm to his nerves and veins, risk of increased back pain, sciatica, vaginal and rectal prolapse. Perpetual tremor occurs probably due to damage of the nerves and nervous system. Do not make love to your wife during the first hour of the night, otherwise child would be a sorcerer, fraud who prefers this world to the hereafter. It is undesirable to make love between the call of morning prayer and sunrise, and between sunset until the redness of the sky has gone. Allah dislikes 24 qualities for you and has prohibited you from them. One of these qualities is doing sex under the open sky. Eating or licking food off the spouse's body is against the etiquettes of morality. Food is a blessing, and disrespecting food in any way, including placing it at the body, especially close to the parts which may be impure. Do not make love unless each of you has a piece of separate cloth to clean yourselves. If you use the same cloth, enmity would befall between you, and this brings about separation and divorce. Avoid sex when there is a need to defecate or urinate, for that causes the illness of piles or tumor. Hope this information makes your lives simpler by practicing these sexual etiquettes. Note, if one misses these precautions, it doesn't mean that he will for sure be afflicted, but may have these outcomes. So, it's always wise to be on the safer side and take precautions.